There's another hotel. Something your flow. Okay, now hey, I'm begging you to finish your cheese. Okay, you go upstairs. Go ahead. Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, we go live, and tonight we're gonna talk about the delusions of Terrence Crawford and Shawn Porter, man. And man, we're gonna go on that, but I got the Terrence Crawford video coming up next, man. But Shawn Porter, let's decompartmentalize so it makes sense to everybody, and I'm a put a few tracks on the railroad so you guys can see what I'm saying. Let's go all the way back to the fight, which was a tremendous fight. I believe it was fight of the year, and many experts and many fans who believe that was the best fight of the year. Shawn Porter didn't have a rematch clause, and either one of two things happened. They urged him not to get one, or they paid him out of it. I don't know which one is the two. Shawn Porter would have to ask his father, who was his manager, trainer, advisor, Mr. 40%, you know what I mean? And excuse me, 43%. It's just I don't understand it, you know what I mean? And as I see how Shawn is navigating, it doesn't make sense, you know. And I'm gonna make this video to appeal to Shawn Porter, who's in Shawn Porter's circle of influence, who better start speaking up, because Shawn probably got 3, maybe 4 potential 7-figure paydays left in his career if he can get it, if he can build some momentum. But you know, I'm just gonna tell the truth. Shawn didn't capitalize off his momentum that he got from the Errol Spence fight. He went arrogant. And what I mean by arrogant is he was very pompous in the press conference. And Errol Spence, I thought Errol Spence took the humble route, took the gracious route and said, yeah, you're better than I thought you were. And Shawn went off and said something, and Errol Spence just got up and he left the press conference, right? Karen Swanson kind of broke up the press conference, and everybody went on their way. And Lincoln's gonna make Kennedy cry in about 2 minutes. Watch. And I guess you know how you can feel it brewing. And where am I at? So, and then he went kind of pompous, kind of arrogant. And then part 2, we roll into the Deontay Wilder-Luis Ortiz fight. And you got to understand where your core fan base is. You know, I think Shawn wanted to be an all-American superstar. It don't work that way in real life. You know, especially when the money is not behind you to be a superstar like a Drake, like a Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, I mean, the money's not behind you. So they're not going to put marketing dollars to protect your image, you know. And he went against Deontay Wilder and didn't pick Deontay Wilder. Let's say if I was on the show like that, I would have to pick Deontay Wilder, because I know that's my core fan base. And Shawn didn't really grasp the understanding of his core fan base. I don't think he really understands his core fan base to this day, you know, pun not intended, but you know, it definitely hits home to this day. And then moving forward to the next fight, the Tyson Fury fight, he still picked Tyson Fury. It's not that you have the right to do it, but when you're struggling to attract people to like you, you have to capitalize off people liking the other person that you're promoting. Like Errol Spence, like Deontay Wilder. These are the top 2 markets in the black boxing sphere. Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, and there's nothing you can say or do anything about it, right? And I think that he did a disservice through the course of it. And then Al threw him another bone. Al says, you know what? we gave you a headlining event for what's that? Ugas. We'll give you a headlining event. You say you're a superstar, you're a world champion. We're going to give you an opportunity to be great. And it kind of flatlined. You know, I had 100 tickets to give away for that fight. You know what I mean? And no one really wanted to come. You know, whether it was the inclement weather, it was about 55, 60 to 55 degrees that night, probably, with a wind chill because you got wind tunnels in StubHub Center. There was a lot of factors, but at the end of the day, 3 weeks prior to that, people still came out and saw Tank Davis. So when people want to see you, they'll make they'll make reasons why they should go. And so he threw him a bone and said, "Hey, I'm gonna give you another headlining event. You're gonna be the first fighter." Well, you had Jamal James. He won in convincing fashion, but I'm gonna give you a headliner, and you're gonna be on Fox again. Now, I think the barometer for Fox is the Jamal James fight, which is 1.1 million. I think that's the baseline. So I think anything above for Shawn, with the amount of fights he's been in, I would think Shawn would have to do over, let's say 1.5, 1.6. That would be his median. Because Jamal James, who's never been a champion, does 1.1 and has never fought in front of a big live audience, even on the undercard. His was 1.1, between 1 million and 1.1. So I think that if Shawn, the ratings are going to come out today sometime. It's 10:45 right now, so it should come out between now and tonight. So 1.5 will be his barometer. And 2, Shawn didn't promote his fight as he should have. You know, like, be honest with you, I didn't watch the fight as like a real boxing fan. I watched it on the commercials of the Lakers and the Portland Trailblazers game. You know, when it was a commercial, I flipped back and I watched it, and he was dominating the fight. And I thought, and as I was watching the fight in between those commercials, or whenever there was a dead ball or something like that, or free throws, I would go back. I thought Shawn was going to stop the kid, right? I thought Shawn was going to stop the kid, and he didn't stop him. And so the point I'm making is, when they give you something, you have to take full advantage of it. And I thought Shawn didn't take full advantage of another opportunity that Al Heyman presented him in terms of headlining on Fox, which is, say, the biggest, them with CBS, the biggest market for free TV. And he was in great shape. I thought Larry Wade did a hell of a job getting him in shape. I thought that Shawn is a valuable opponent for anybody, but I don't think he supports the business of boxing. And that's and when you're not, see, he's in a precarious position. And, oh, okay. It's the one, I hear one from that's on top of the stairs. Okay, I'll be there in a second. Okay. Mm-hmm. And when you look at him from the optics, and I think people really need to grasp what I'm trying to say. This is not no hate video on Shawn. This is a pragmatic video on Shawn Porter. This ain't nothing to do with personal feeling. I don't really care too much about that as it pertains to this. I want to make sure that it makes sense. Shawn didn't stop the kid. Great shape, great opponent. Shawn is probably the best opponent in boxing, right? Before Shawn, I would say, because of what he's been through, J-Rock was probably, remember I did a video, J-Rock was probably the best opponent, and then he became a champion, and now he became the ace high. So I think Shawn is the best available opponent that we can possibly have in boxing. And that's nothing shabby about it. But when you're not bringing nothing to the table, like when Errol Spence said you can't sell out a family dinner, the business of boxing does not support that, does not support a rematch. Fans are going to say, yeah, it was a great fight, but in macro numbers, I don't really care to see Shawn Porter as it in that manner. You know what I mean? And many times people only like turkey on Thanksgiving. You know, people don't really like turkey sandwiches on Friday and turkey soup on Saturday, and the dog don't want to eat the turkey bone on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it lies. We've already seen it. We know how good Shawn is. We don't believe Shawn can beat Errol Spence. We just believe he'll give him a good fight, you know. And when you look at the formula fight, you'll see that he couldn't stop the guy. When I thought Larry Wade did a phenomenal job getting him in shape. So if Shawn goes 12 rounds with Formella and you do this pyramid scheme, right, or this triangle theory that they use in boxing, he can't stop nobody in the upper tier of boxing. So really, you just stand in the center of the ring. You don't even move with Shawn. You just stand in the center of the ring and say, "Come fight me," because he can't truly hurt you. You understand? And I think that's the dilemma that he goes. He can't overwhelm you in terms of boxing, and he's not the draw that he believes that he is. You know, and the things that's come out of Shawn's mouth over the past 6 months. And I know people aren't going to grasp what I'm saying because they're going to be like, "Fred, you're hating because you don't like his dad." I'll never like his dad again, and that's the truth. But if you really love Shawn Porter, you're gonna have to tell him, don't wait on Errol Spence. Do not wait on Errol Spence. You better try and get that Keith Thurman fight. You better try and get Danny Garcia. You better try and get Terrence Crawford. And that's how you're gonna make your millions of dollars. Al Heyman you're not fucking up Al Heyman's plan. You know what I mean? Al Heyman wants to make Dallas, Texas one of the biggest places to go and watch a fight. Al Heyman wants to make Atlanta, Georgia one of the best places to go and watch a fight. You had 4 or 5 opportunities, Shawn, to get it done. You know what I mean? And then when Al Heyman says, go make the deal with Terrence Crawford, he's basically saying, yeah, I'm going to support you, but you got to find your way now. You understand? And I think if Shawn wants these $1 million paydays, he's going to have to go get Terrence Crawford. He's going to have to go get Keith Thurman. He's going to have to get the rematch with Danny Garcia. He's going to have to fight Jaron Ennis for an interim belt when he's ready, or a title eliminator belt. You know what I mean? These are the fights, but you're not getting Manny Pacquiao and you're not getting Errol Spence. It's impossible. You know, the money in boxing does not support you fighting them because you fuck up the apple cart. Why would they allow you to beat up on Manny Pacquiao? Don't make sense. There's no return on the investment. Proof is in the pudding. Ugas, no one came. You understand? I believe, I remember Errol Spence quote. He said, I didn't even know Shawn Porter was fighting. And he's on the PBC Fox roster. He had no idea you was fighting that Saturday. He tweeted it out or something on his Instagram or something like that. My memory serves me correctly. And then fast forward to after the fight, I saw Shawn Porter in a Versace. I didn't watch the video. I just saw the thumbnail of in a Versace like clothing. What do you call that? Robe. And I'm like, a year and a half ago, Shawn didn't even know what Louis Vuitton was in my interview. I was confused. So I think bring Shawn in, and Shawn, you have to be the king of your domain. If you're not the king of your domain these last 3 or 4 fights, as I told you, these are your Hall of Fame years. You know what I mean? These are your 3. You're in your Hall of Fame years. You got to win one of these fights to get in the Hall of Fame. You got to win one of these fights. I think you're right there. You're borderline right there. You're going to go in the Nevada Hall of Fame because of the things you do in Nevada. But the big one, you need one of these fights. You need a Danny Gart. You need a Keith Thurman win, Kell Brook win, or a Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence win at 154 for a title eliminator. I think that's the best way you can look at Errol Spence, is maybe getting him at 154 as a title eliminator or something. But I don't think Al Heyman would do that again. I'm being honest. I don't think Al Heyman would do that again. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But me being, as Floyd Mayweather say, a shrewd businessman, it don't make sense. So go after Keith Thurman. Protect your money and go after Keith Thurman, because you're going to wake up in 3 years because of your style that you don't have like true knockout power because of the Formella fight. You didn't knock out Granados neither. I know you had a hurt hand. I was there. 2 things may happen. you're either going to end up punch drunk because you have to go 12 rounds and you have to go 12 rounds and be in an intense fight to win. Okay. And the gift and the curse of Larry Wade is he's going to do his job perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to have you in such great shape that you can go 12 rounds with anybody. Like, anybody. Like, it's just reality. You can go 12 rounds with anybody, and you are good enough to be in the ring with anybody, but you just fall short of turns of winning, you know? And I just hope that it makes sense. And I think that the people around Shawn Porter needs to be honest. You're not getting Manny. I mean, you're not getting Manny Pacquiao. And you can be number one as long as you want. How many title eliminators? You had to go Andre Berto, Granados, and then you fought Danny Garcia a year later. So go figure. You understand? So you got to be pragmatic in terms of you being the number one ranked guy. And, you know what I mean? So just be cognizant. Control your own destiny. All right. People in Shawn Porter camp like, Fred, you're hating, but then they missed the truth in this video. Better get your money. And if you missed the boat and not fighting Terrence Crawford because y'all BFFs, or you don't convince Keith Thurman to get back in the ring, or Danny Garcia, he's the underdog against Errol Spence. So many experts, such as myself, have him losing that fight. You're going to have to get these fights. But if you're sitting waiting on Errol Spence fight and thinking that you're going to get it, listen, think about this. You don't have to lobby for it. Al Heyman is your advisor. You don't have to lobby for it in public. You know what I mean? Errol Spence said in the Brian Custer video, "Oh, there's no way he's getting that fight again. I'm off to bigger and better things," which is unification. Then get a name at 154, then fight for a unified belt at 154. If Jamel Charlo has moved up to if Jamel Charlo moves up to 160, Errol Spence is going to 154. Come on, man. Y'all don't see it. And Errol is holding on. I don't know, but I can just tell by the language that he uses in interviews. He's holding on to 147 as best he can. You know, he's doing everything possible. Thank God he works out in Dallas, you know, with that humidity. You can lose weight rather easy. So, Shawn, I'm going to say this one last time. You're a phenomenal athlete. You're a good boxer and a phenomenal athlete, right? Don't be a casualty of boxing, okay? Control your business and go get these fights. I'm just going to tell you, control your business and go get the fights that you can realistically get, okay? Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao are like the ghosts of Christmas past, man. It's not happening. You know what I mean? And the business of boxing is Scrooge. Bah humbug, nigga. Like, you're not getting them. So, by the way, fun fact about Frederick Hawthorne. I played Scrooge in the elementary Christmas play. Manchester Elementary School, Manchester and Hoover, man. Wow. I haven't thought about that in years. So anyways, man, barbershop conversations, man. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Feel free to send us to Shawn, but manage your business. All right. I just saw you in a Versace robe, and I'm like, that's not Shawn Porter. I just saw Shawn. Well, maybe that is him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe that is him now. You know what I mean? He just got fired from Fox, so that check's not coming in. I know he got you got to get a severance package when you get, so I don't know how big it was, but you know what I mean? Just like Roy Jones has a severance package from HBO and you're still getting paid, as he said in one of my interviews. So I know that that's still great, but moving forward with boxing, you're either going to be a great promoter. I heard where they say Shawn Porter Promotions, but you have no fighters. You got to step in front of your business. Your dad can't be the face of Shawn Porter Promotions. He can be the voice, but he can't be the face. You know what I mean? So you got to step in front and do what you're supposed to do, because you're pushing business away. Your father's pushing business away. It's not by accident. Trust me, it's not by accident. He has no fighters. You know, Barry Hunter is, let's say, who was a mean guy that still gets fighters? I can't think off the top of my head, but very disciplined trainers, you know what I mean, who do it their way, and they still get fighters to this day. You know, but anyways, man, it's just food for thought, man. We going live on this topic tonight. Barbershop, we're going live on Shawn Porter and T Duck Crawford. Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.